In just a few short years, Liam Payne went from looking like this to looking like this. His voice, once powerful and controlled, had started to sound shaky. His interviews became erratic, his behavior unpredictable, and his public appearances less and less frequent. At first, fans thought he was just taking time off, that maybe he needed a break from the spotlight after years of pressure. But when videos began to surface, showing him slurring words, cancelling shows and disappearing for months at a time, it became clear that something deeper was going on. This was the same Liam Payne who once stood centre stage as part of One Direction, one of the biggest boy bands in history, charming millions with his smile and his voice. But by 2024, he looked like a man lost both physically and emotionally.
That was a really big squeeze.
And then on October 16th, that slow decline came to a sudden, tragic end. When Liam fell from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina, he was just 31 years old. So what happened to Liam Payne? How did one of pop music's brightest stars go from fame, fortune, and adoration to a lonely hotel room thousands of miles from home? And what really happened in those final hours before his death? Everything traces back to the months leading up to his final trip. Liam had been struggling for years with addiction, anxiety, and the mental toll of fame. But long before the world knew his name, he was just a kid from Wolverhampton, England, shy, sickly, and desperate to prove himself. Born in 1993, Liam was the youngest of three, raised by his parents Jeff and Karen Payne in a modest home in Bushbury. From a young age, he battled serious health problems. Payne was born 3 weeks premature and spent long stretches in hospital until the age of 4 for kidney issues that left him feeling weak and isolated. Yet even then, there was something different about him. He loved performing, singing at school events, talent shows, anywhere someone would listen. In 2008, at just 14, he auditioned for the X Factor for the first time.
You know, young guy, good looking, people will like you, but there's something not quite, there's 20% missing for me at the moment.
Well, give me another audition and I'll show you I've got that 20%.
Cheryl, Cheryl, what do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
You've got 3 yeses to get through.
Simon Cowell saw potential, but told him to come back when he was older, when he was ready. 2 years later, in 2010, a 16-year-old Liam Payne stepped back onto the X Factor stage. He had the look, the voice, and the drive that caught Simon Cowell's attention immediately. He didn't make it as a solo act, but the judges saw something special, a spark they couldn't ignore. So they paired him with 4 other boys, Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Louis Tomlinson, and Niall Horan. That moment marked the birth of One Direction, and the beginning of a phenomenon no one could have predicted. Liam quickly became the group's anchor, the calm one, the reliable one. While Harry had the charm and Zayn had the mystery, Liam was the backbone. And for a while, everything looked perfect. The band's fame exploded beyond anything the UK had ever seen. Sold-out arenas, #1 albums, global stardom before any of them had even turned 22. They became the soundtrack of an entire generation, with songs like Drag Me Down and Steal My Girl dominating charts around the world. But behind the smiles and perfectly rehearsed interviews, Liam was beginning to crack under the pressure. In later interviews, he admitted he turned to alcohol and pills just to cope with the chaos of it all. When One Direction split in 2016, every member went their own way. Harry Styles became a superstar. Niall Horan leaned into his chill, acoustic sound. And Liam? He tried to reinvent himself. He released songs like Strip That Down and Stack It Up, trying to shed his boy band image. For a while it worked. His singles went platinum, and his name was back on the charts. But the fame began to weigh him down again. What made headlines wasn't the music anymore, it was his behavior. Fans began noticing strange live streams, slurred speech, and erratic interviews. He'd once been the grounded one, but now he was unraveling in front of millions. In one infamous podcast, he seemed to turn on his former bandmates, rambling through half-finished sentences that left fans stunned.
There was one moment where there was an argument backstage and one member in particular threw me up a wall. So I said to him, if you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again.
Liam later admitted that fame had broken him. He said he drank to numb himself, often alone, until he blacked out. He admitted he had thoughts of ending his life, that he struggled with depression, isolation, and an addiction he couldn't shake. Through it all, his relationships became another reflection of his inner chaos. Liam's love life began during the height of One Direction's success. In 2010, he started dating Danielle Pisa, a dancer he met on The X Factor, when he was just 17 and she was 22. Their relationship lasted 3 years before ending in 2013. Soon after, Liam began dating his childhood friend Sophia Smith from 2013 to 2015, a relationship that many fans believed grounded him during the band's whirlwind fame. Later that same year, he started dating Cheryl, the pop star and X Factor judge who had first met him when he was just 14 years old at his original audition. They reconnected years later when Liam returned to the show at 16, with Cheryl, then 26, once again sitting on the judges' panel. Their relationship blossomed, and in March 2017, the pair welcomed their son, Payne. But by 2018, their romance had quietly come to an end. In 2019, Liam began dating model Maya Henry. The two became engaged in 2020, separated briefly in 2021, reunited, and got engaged again, only to part ways for good in 2022. By late 2022, Liam was in a relationship with influencer Kate Cassidy, who seemed to bring back a spark of happiness that fans hadn't seen in years. In 2023, he announced he was entering rehab. By October 2024, Liam seemed to be in a better place, at least on the surface. He'd just posted photos with Kate, smiling, laughing, saying he was heading to Argentina to visit his old bandmate, Niall Horan. He told fans on Snapchat, "It's been a while since me and Niall have spoken. We've got a lot to talk about." He went to Niall's concert, dancing, singing along, cheering from the crowd. For the first time in months, fans thought he looked happy. But behind those smiles, there was something darker brewing. People close to him said Liam had been mixing alcohol with antidepressants and occasionally cocaine, a combination that can be deadly. When the concert ended, Kate left Argentina. Liam stayed behind at the Casa Sur Hotel, a 5-star luxury spot in Buenos Aires. That's where everything would fall apart. October 16th, 2024. Liam Payne had been staying at the Casa Sur Hotel in Buenos Aires for 3 days. He was seen earlier that afternoon in the lobby, unsteady, disoriented, barely able to stand. His friend Roger Nores left the hotel earlier in the day. Minutes later, hotel staff found Liam collapsing in the hallway. Security cameras captured him being dragged, unconscious, back to his room by 3 staff members. Around 5 p.m., hotel staff contacted police, reporting that a guest appeared to be under the influence of drugs and alcohol and was behaving erratically in his room. A few minutes later, around 5 p.m., a loud crash was heard in the hotel courtyard. Liam Payne had fallen from his 3rd-floor balcony, a drop of about 14 meters. By the time emergency services arrived, there was nothing they could do. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police found Liam Payne's hotel room in total disorder, with broken items, scattered medications, and debris. A whiskey bottle, lighter, and cell phone were recovered near the area of the fall. The autopsy confirmed he sustained multiple traumatic injuries consistent with a high fall. Toxicology tests showed alcohol, cocaine, and a prescribed antidepressant in his system. Authorities ruled out foul play, treating the incident as an accidental fall or one influenced by his impaired condition. In connection with his death, 5 people were charged, 3 for negligence, charged manslaughter, and 2 for supplying narcotics. In early 2025, the negligence charges against 3 of them, Roger Norris, Gilda Martin, and Esteban Grassi, were dropped, while the 2 accused drug suppliers, Ezequiel Pereira and Brian Pais, continue to face legal proceedings. While the legal system tries to make sense of what happened, fans are still asking why. Why was he left alone when staff clearly knew he was in danger? Why wasn't he hospitalized when they called emergency services? The story of Liam Payne isn't just about addiction. It's about what fame does to a human being. When the cameras stop flashing and the crowd goes quiet. Because underneath the designer clothes, the stadium lights, and the millions of followers, Liam was just a man trying to find peace in a life that never slowed down long enough to let him breathe.